Hey everyone, I'm Steve. In this series, we'll create a cool stylized Japanese restaurant in Blender. This series will be beginner-friendly, so whether you're new to Blender or looking to sharpen your skills, you're in the right place. Let's get started. First, we'll clean up our scene by deleting the light and the camera. We'll use the default cube to create our first wall. Press G and Z to move it up a bit. Then hit Tab to switch to edit mode and select everything with A. Scale it along the Y-axis by pressing S to form the first brick. You can also adjust the X-axis if needed. Next, head over to the Modifiers tab, click on Add Modifier, and choose Array Modifier. Add another Array Modifier too. Set the Z factor of the first array and the Y factor of the second one to 1. Adjust the count to build your wall. I set the first to 15 and the second to 12. Apply the modifiers, and let's add a bevel modifier. Back in edit mode, select everything with A, go to the Mesh menu, select Transform, and choose Randomize. Tweak the amount to add some character to our wall. Around 0.147 looks great. Switch to Face Selection mode by pressing 3, hover over random bricks, and hit L to select them. Enable X-ray mode with Alt-Z to see better. Move them along the X-axis with G and X. I'll pull out some bricks using this technique too. Now let's switch to the front view by pressing 1 on the numpad. Select these faces in X-ray mode and move them along the Y-axis with G and Y. With our wall complete, duplicate it with Shift-Left-D and rotate it 90 degrees on the Z-axis by pressing RZ and typing 90. Rotate it another 180 degrees on the Z-axis to fit perfectly. Then place it correctly. Notice a small gap? No problem. Go into Edit mode, select these vertices, and move them slightly along the Y-axis. Do the same for the other wall. Time to create the door and window holes. In the front view, create a cube with Shift-A and position it. Scale it with S. In Edit mode, enable X-ray, select these vertices, and move them up a bit. Adjust the door width by moving these vertices. Happy with the door's position and size? Duplicate it and repeat the same process for the window. Select our wall, and in Edit mode, select the bricks within the door area. Then hit X to delete them. Move these vertices along the X-axis. Select all these vertices and hit S, X, and 0 to flatten them. Repeat for the window hole. Let's create the window frame. Select this face in Edit mode, inset it with I, then extrude along the Y-axis. For the door, create a loop cut with Ctrl-R, select this face, inset with I, and adjust by moving these vertices. Extrude this face too. Move them along the Y-axis to position them correctly. Turn on the cavity option to see the model better. Add more details to the door by duplicating this face with Shift-D, scaling it down, positioning it, and extruding along the Z-axis. Select it with L, duplicate with Shift-D, and place it. Use the same technique for window details. Now, let's add a cube and position it here. Select this face and move it along the X-axis. Let's add a loop cut here and extrude this face. I'll add another loop cut here and extrude this face. You can isolate the model with the / key. Then select these faces, duplicate them, and bring them here. Now hit E to extrude them. Let's complete our walls by duplicating this one to the other side. You might need to rotate it 180 degrees to connect them correctly. Once you place the wall in the right position, select these vertices and hit S, X, and 0 to make them straight. By pressing S, Y, and 0, do the same for the Y-axis as well. I like to have rounded corners for my walls, so with these vertices selected, hit Ctrl-B to bevel them. You can add more segments by moving your middle mouse or just adjust in the bevel properties in the bottom left. Right-click and select Shade Auto Smooth. Now, let's go to Edit mode and select these faces. Move them along the X-axis, then select the Spin tool. In the top view, hold Shift and right-click to move the 3D cursor here. Make sure you select the Z dimension in the top left. Now you can spin this part and create a nice round corner. You can extrude these faces for this side of the wall as well. I rounded the other corners with the same workflow. Okay, let's copy these faces and move them to the top of our walls. Then, press E to extrude and select these faces. Right-click and select Bridge Edge Loops. To fill the top side, just select these faces and hit F. And that's a wrap for the first part of our stylized Japanese restaurant tutorial. We've made some great progress on our walls and added some cool details. In the next part, we'll continue modeling this house and bring even more elements to life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next steps. See you in the next video.